What's good? It's your boy Shy, aka Mr. Get Your Buzz Up. I'm here with Talib Kweli. What's good, homie?
What's up, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, good. Enjoying life, man. So you're going out on this tour. You're with Immortal Technique and Nico and all that. How was the show last night in Chicago?
Oh, we had a great time. Yeah.
Bringing Nico along on this tour, you know, signing him. What's that been like thus far?
It's been good. Nico is a refreshing, inspirational artist, and we're very excited about his release, Brutus, that came out a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. And you have an upcoming album. You have actually, if everything's correct, you have 2 projects coming out this year. You have an album and then possibly a project with Ninth Wonder as well?
Yeah, the next thing out will probably be my project with Madlib. But yeah, and then we're going to do the Ninth Wonder project. I got a solo album I'm working on.
Okay. What can we expect from any one of those projects as far as producers or features or anything like that?
Well, nothing's set in stone yet. Don't want to speak on stuff until it's done. But yeah, none of it's set in stone yet.
Okay. All right. You know, with everything that's going on in the country, the one thing that it seems like you take a lot of pride in is being a part of change and being a major part in as far as trying to support the communities when it's needed. And with the Ferguson incident that happened, you know, a good friend of mine, B-Girl, was with you a lot of the time. She was talking about when a lot of the things were going on, when, you know, you were, when the police came at you with assault rifles and things like that, and what was that like, and what can you speak on in regards to the entire Ferguson situation when you were there?
You know, it's in the tradition of people standing up. You know, that's what this country is built on. You know, you have to assert yourself and assert that your life has value. And Ferguson is not unique. As you see, you have the same situations here happen in Madison. You know, Ferguson doesn't exist in a vacuum. There are systems that are designed to benefit white people and to harm people of color, and that's just how it is. It's no individual's fault who was born into this historical perspective, but it is how it is. And if you don't actively push against it, then you're complicit in it.
I feel that. And when you hear about things going on in Madison, you know, that's supposed to be a quote unquote liberal city. It's voted the #1 city to live in, but it's also, Wisconsin is the #1 state when it comes to racial disparities and locking up minorities and things of that nature. So what comes to your mind when you think about those things? And then you have the situation where Tony Robinson was, you know, 19-year-old kid that was unarmed, shot by a police officer.
Yeah, I mean, I think the prison industrial complex and for-profit prisons have done a lot to extend the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow and to help criminalize young people of color. So regardless of us knowing any facts of us being eyewitnesses to Michael Brown or Tony Robinson, the facts remain is that far too often young people of color are not given the benefit of the doubt and are treated like criminals off top. And so when you see someone who's a teenager who's unarmed, and you have a police officer who's trained, supposed to be trained to deal with these situations without them becoming lethal, because the police officers are paid, their salaries are paid for our taxes, they have a higher responsibility. They're supposed to be protecting the citizens even when they don't agree with the citizens, even when they get into altercations with the citizens. Their job is still the protection of that citizen. Now, being a police officer is a tough job, but it's a job they sign up for. You know, whatever happened with Michael Brown, whatever happened with Tony Robinson, they didn't sign up for that. You know, so when you see the loss of life in that violent way, you have to scrutinize it. And when the facts don't add up, you got to take it to task, you know? I
feel that. Now, I've said it earlier today, the only good that I see coming out of this situation right now with Tony Robinson, which is a tragic incident that happened, is for the first time when it comes to Madison, you have the entire youth standing up and speaking and saying something. Pretty much all the high schools in Madison are empty. They left the high schools and marched around the Capitol, marched inside the Capitol. So what, again, you were down there in Ferguson. What advice can you give people in the city of Madison to try to make things better, to try to bring about change?
Well, I hardly see myself as a person who is in a position of authority. You know, I'm somebody who tries to provide a voice to the struggle. So to me, the leaders of the youth is those high school students who are providing leadership for us. And we could support what they're doing because they're on the ground and the perspective that they see it from is the correct perspective. You know, I enjoy a certain amount of privilege. I travel around the world doing hip hop shows.
Yeah.
I don't deal with the same realities that I dealt with when I was 17, 18, 19 years old as a young black man. So whoever that person is in Madison, I'm gonna listen to them first. And I'm gonna take into account their voice. You know, when I went to Ferguson, I went not as a rapper or a celebrity, but as a member of the community, and I took direction from them. You know, so I think that's what solidarity is. It's about really recognizing where the true leadership comes from, and I think it comes from the youth. You know, I would say, you know, look to things that have been successful. Look to organizations like the Dream Defenders and what they did out in Tallahassee, you know, surrounding the Trayvon Martin thing. Look to Occupy Wall Street. Look to the Green Revolution in the Middle East. Look to what they did in Ferguson. But even when I say look to that as advice, that's still other young people taking the charge and other people, young people creating spaces for leadership. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what seems to be happening here in Madison right now.
Yeah. It's the one nice thing that's come out of this, watching the youth come out and really come together in force and show their own leadership. So, I mean, what's next for you? I mean, you have such a. Me and Nico were talking about all the albums you have and all the music you have, and you've toured the world, and you have your own label, and you're signing artists, and you're bringing other artists on, and what's next? Is there ever a time where you say, I want to do something else besides music full time?
Now, music is my first love, and it's what's been able to provide all this. But yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be involved in music. The touring right now, I'm doing these tours because I like the idea of touring with Immortal Technique. I like the idea of being able to introduce Nico to new audiences. But certainly I want to step away from the touring and stuff. But this is a good tour that I want to be on.
I mean, this is Shy, a.k.a. Mr. Get Your Buzz Up, and we out.
Peace. Peace.
And Brand New Get Up is a perfect example of people who have been through the whole hip hop cycle a few times, seen everything, and been like, now I feel comfortable enough to turn up in a way for the reasons that I love the music, you know. So it has a very like pure energy to it.
Yeah.